Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I've got a great morning update on what is going on in Wall Street right now. Let's jump right over there and talk about this. Big stories. We're going to get to the home prices surging over 20% in March, according to the S&P Case-Shiller. But last night I put out a little market update, and this is what's really interesting. So now Dow futures down. We were talking about how last week we were seeing a full up week, and now we're seeing the Dow turn down 217 points, pretty much nominal. But this is what I was really focusing on yesterday. Oil yesterday was at like $117. I was talking about how it is going to start its uptrend. We are going to start seeing some pretty remarkable moves. I think we're about to blow through the absolute high in oil, leading to that $10 per gallon gasoline, and I believe diesel for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw $11 diesel coming this year, this summer, which will absolutely crater the real economy, Main Street economy. But this is also something very interesting. So today we're seeing the US 10-year really spike today on a percentage basis. That's looking pretty high. And it's interesting because this story will pop into here, but we're going to show the dollar index too. The big news today is the home prices surged over 20% in March as interest rates also rose. Now, what they're talking about is nationally, they rose at 20.6% higher than they were a year prior. That's not news, right? We all know that. We were just waiting for the official numbers, but we all knew that they had came up. We knew that there was panic in the housing market, and this means nothing. Ironically, though, you will see many headline readers go, "Oh my gosh, housing's a buy. House prices keep rising." That's not true, actually. So I want people to understand that. I know my subscribers understand that, but just in case you're new, hey, if you're new, I want to consider sticking around and hitting the subscribe button, because there's a lot of stuff happening. Now, this is really remarkable. Now, I know we're up a little bit on the US dollar index, the Dixie, today, just a little under 1%. But I want you to remember that I've been talking about this for about a month now, where I said this peak right here should be still resistance. And this dates back all the way to 1999. I got that information. Who really opened my eyes to it was Crypto Charts Joe on Twitter. If you haven't heard of him, take a look. He does a lot more than just crypto charts. He does stocks and dollar and gold and silver, things like that. So thank you, Joe, for that. But he said, he goes mid 2000 or 104 on the Dixie is going to be a solid resistance point dating all the way back to 1999. Now, I know a lot of you guys have listened to Brent Johnson's dollar milkshake theory. I came out with my dollar whippet theory last June, and so far that seems to be holding. We'll end up, maybe I can get an editor to do like some really fancy video of like, here, look, this was the plan. This was, going back to last June. And as of right now, Joe's resistance point is currently holding, coming all the way back, backing off its highs, 3 or 4%. We're seeing a little bit of a rise right now. But the reason, again, we're going to go back to that rise is because today the Dow is showing some weakness. Now, when that happens, of course, when we see, all the stock market is showing a little bit of weakness, traders are hesitant, algos are hesitant. There are a lot of stuff going on. And ironically, you see gold and silver selling off today. Not much. Silver's, taking a little bit more of a header than gold. But again, trying to find the coins at a good price with the premiums right now, because everybody's sucking them up. Good luck. I mean, that quite frankly is just, that's where we're at right now. But I think the real story you need to realize and look at where we're going here are two things. Oil's a big one. Oil and bonds, the 10-year, both rising today. But I think that oil is going to be the big story this summer that's going to create our economy, and food. Food is going to be the number one thing. So I cannot stress enough, if you do not have 6 months of food set aside, please do so now. It's all fun to make money and to go crush it and to buy cool stuff and to, accomplish goals. That's the coolest thing about all this, is just accomplishing goals. It's not about bragging to other people, but accomplishing things that you want in life. But you can't do that on an empty stomach. Your mind, you can lose your mind, honestly, when you're starving. So I want people to really think about that. Now, last thing I want to cover, this whole story of oil would have already been over $100 if this hadn't happened. All right, I want to make that very clear. But this is exacerbating the issue. It is going to make it much, much worse as governments around the world. And right here, it says, I'll just explain, Russia hits back at EU's partial oil embargo, says it will find other importers for its oil, for its crude. And the one way they're going to do that is the opposite of, well, they're going to just lower their price. That's it. You know, remember, these prices right here are run up by traders, okay? And this is speculation that's happening right now. So Russia was selling oil, you know, a year ago for much lower prices. They do not mind selling it for much lower prices. They still have the same amount of oil in the ground. It's still coming out the same rate. And ironically, they can actually sell more at much lower prices. And will there be countries that line up to buy their oil? Yes, they will. Okay, so I want people to understand how serious this is, because right now we are seeing a complete shift in power. And as these other countries, if you think about it, you know, the EU and the US trying to fight Russia on this, all they're going to do is lose customers forever, because when you start taking care of other countries and saying, hey, we're going to take care of you, we're going to give you the best price in oil, all that kind of stuff. Heck, we might even throw in some protection. All of a sudden, you look like you're the United States way back in the 1960s. And this is a big deal. 1970s, you know what I mean? Guys, it's a big deal. The shift of power is changing. I want and you need to be changing as well. Change the way that you deal with your finances, change the way that you're dealing with everything right now, your friends, your relationships, your debt. Time to change. Times are changing. We want to change with them because we want to make the most out of this, because you could be the smartest dude in the room, but if you don't do anything about it and something changes and just knocks you off your feet financially, emotionally, or physically, well, then you're useless. All right, guys, that being said, I thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.